of course, I start this and my allergies start up. So anyway, this video is not just for fitness people at all. This video can be related to anybody. Whether you've never worked out a day in your life, whether you eat healthy, don't eat healthy, doesn't matter. This is the big, hard, bloated gut that you might necessarily not have all day long, but you definitely get it after meals or whatever. But as far as for the fitness community, you predominantly see it in, professional bodybuilders, the freaks of nature. Guys are, whether they're say my height at 6 foot, like a old Ronnie Coleman, that's 300 pounds, 280, 250, or whatever. They're on the fitness industry wise, they're the ones that normally have the ginormous gut that a lot of times goes away when it comes to contest time, or they can suck it in and it all goes away. But first, I apologize for not being around lately because we're almost in July, but family life is here, kids are out of school, and that's by far the most important thing to me. And then the businesses are t-shirt business is doing good. This is a new one. I love my wife when she lets me go to the gym. So I love my wife when she lets me go to golfing. I love my husband when he lets me do whatever, go to the gym or whatever. So these will be up on the website, told a different way. Of course, when you buy shirts, supplements, CBD, meats, you're helping out my business, my family and friends that all help me. And yeah, so of course supplements, I support huge corporations, but at least you're not buying it from that big A place on the internet or whatever. So anyway. And lastly, if you are under 25 and watching this video, enjoy your youth, because boom, you're going to wake up one day, be over 35, 40 like me, and go, huh, I understand what he meant. Second, we're still in pretty dark times. So no matter what, enjoy every second of the day that you are alive. And most important thing of all is say hello to your mother, which I do have on a shirt too. I gotta make sure it's on the website. Say hello to your mother. All right. Am I in there? Yeah, not bad. All right, all right. So, gotta make sure we're recording. So, if you look in the bodybuilding world, you'll see there's always talk about the big bloated gut. It sticks out more than chest. They look like they're pregnant, whatever, but then they can suck it in. Everyone's like, oh, it's drugs, drugs, drugs. Okay? Not ruling out it's not drugs, but like whether it be steroids, growth hormone, insulin. But how can 20-year-old girl, 30-year-old girl, 50-year-old girl that's never ever exercised a day in her life, has never, or maybe she does all the time, has never ever done any type of, whether it be steroids or estrogen or growth hormone, insulin, or even any, say, supplements that I sell over the counter, legal supplements. She has this big, rock hard, bloated gut. How's that possible? But everybody on the internet's like, oh, it's all about the steroids and this and this and this. But it happens in all of us. Me personally, okay, insulin. I have the big, rock hard, bloated gut. Not all the time, but it's not, I've never ever done insulin, never done any supplements that mess with my insulin, good or bad. I had it before I did growth hormone. I had it after I did growth hormone. All the HRT, TRT supplements that I have done have always been legit. Low dosages. I had it when I was 100% natty, no TRT, HRT, but it predominantly came when I got on HRT or T, but I also have been consuming 2 to 3 pounds of beef a day still and everything, and it predominantly got really rock hard and big around 40 years old. So, 2 things. You eat too much of the wrong foods. Eat too much. Did I mention you eat too much? Which every American eats too much, whether it's good or bad. You eat just too many calories. Second of all, it's not a doctor at all, but when you speak to a doctor, when I speak to my gut doctor, you go on the internet, supposed real doctors, non-alcoholic fatty liver. Okay? Again, me personally, start apple cider vinegar, it helps out. When me personally, I stopped consuming 1 pound of Wagyu beef, that's 100% grass-fed, 100% grass-finished, blah, 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 at breakfast and cut it in half, and/or I've been experimenting with fasting, not in the morning, but at night. After a few days, it goes away. A lot of times, it still might be consuming the same amount of calories, but I've broken up the meal so my body can digest it more. Now, one doctor did say it's red meat causes that because it's hard to digest and the fat. No, he didn't say how hard to digest, just says it's a lot to consume and all the fat. And my doctors also said it, you're over 40, you can't eat like when you were 20. Okay? So, now, you do as far as for the fitness industry, and honestly, this is where I'm absolutely lost, but feel free to type away. If you take, let's just say you take a guy, because it really doesn't, you don't really see it in the bodybuilding fitness community in the female aspect, but you take a dude, say he's we're just going to use me, 6 foot, 180 pounds, never ever had the bloated fat gut, hard gut. But then say he takes the next few years and grows up to, say he steps on stage at 220, 230, 250 instead of 180, 160. But now all of a sudden, it's probably a good idea that he has this rock hard bloated gut. But his steroids dosages have stayed the same. It didn't change anything. I don't know. And it is kind of weird though that because usually the guys on stage that are pro bodybuilders are almost all genetic freaks. A lot of them use less drugs than other people. Eating, it's all over the place. Some guys don't eat as much because they're genetic freaks. Some guys do. But, I know I'm all over the place. I trust my nose. But now think about it though. The bloated fat gut, hard gut, didn't happen when I was in, say, high school competing in the early 90s. Not on a high school level, but you never ever saw at an amateur show, pro show, really the huge bloated gut. And back then, the guys were, to me, bigger, grainier, freakier than they are now. And that's whatever, we're not even getting into it. Even on the amateur level, you walked in, everybody was ginormous and shredded, whether they competed or not in most gyms. It was just an awesome time, which I'll link to at the end of the video about that one. Little story about how it used to be in the day. So I'm just throwing things out there. But I know a lot of women and men that have this rock hard bloated gut. So, is it necessarily drugs? No. Is it, again, I'm not a doctor, is it just consuming too much and too much of the wrong foods? Yes, because again, I can go back to myself that I eat super, super, super clean. Cleaner than 99% of the people out there. Because I eat all my meats come directly from small farms. I know what's in it, blah, blah, blah. So, and I have it all the time, but again, lower the calories, consume less food at a sitting that never used to cause issues, that now cause issues. So, I hope this didn't come out too confusing because I'm thinking about it now, it's all kind of all over the place. But, the point of this is it's not necessarily the drugs, a lot of it's the food.